Before I start the story, I want to tell you to subscribe because only 2% are subscribers, and at 1,000 subscribers I will post a special video. The council chamber was as vast as it was silent. A spherical room located in the heart of the Galactic Council's space station. Hundreds of representatives from various star systems filled the terraced seats, their skin glowing in myriad hues under the soft lighting. In the center, a holographic projector hummed quietly, ready to display the matter at hand. Among the gathered aliens, a small delegation from Earth sat almost unnoticed. Their presence had been a subject of controversy, as Earth was the newest and least developed civilization admitted to the Galactic Council. Humanity, with its relatively primitive technology and young history, was often overlooked, and at times, openly derided. On this day, however, the Earth delegates carried an air of quiet confidence that seemed out of place with their usual demeanor. At the forefront of their group was Ambassador Lena Kovac, a woman known for her sharp intellect and unyielding patience, traits that had served her well in her dealings with the Council. As the session commenced, Vrex, the speaker for the Council, and a being from a highly advanced technological species, addressed the assembly. "We are here to discuss the expansion of the Orion Nebula trade routes," Vrex announced in a booming voice that resonated off the chamber walls. "However, before we proceed, we shall entertain a brief presentation from the human delegation. Let us be efficient. We have significant matters to attend." Sniggers and murmurs spread through the chamber as Lena stepped forward. The reaction was typical. The Council often viewed human issues as trivial or secondary, but Lena was unfazed. She activated the holographic projector, and the room dimmed slightly as star maps and data streams filled the air above her. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings," Lena began, her voice steady and clear. "Humanity is grateful for the opportunity to share a recent advancement in our spacefaring capabilities. An advancement, I believe, that will interest this council greatly, especially in regards to the security of our mutual trade routes." Interest perked in some quarters of the chamber. Technological advancements, particularly those concerning security, were always of interest, even if they came from a fledgling member of the Council. "Our scientists and engineers have developed what we call the stealth fleet," Lena continued. The room buzzed with intrigued murmurs and incredulous laughter. Stealth technology was considered difficult, highly advanced, and expensive even for the most developed civilizations. Lena smiled slightly, tapping a control on her device. The hologram shifted, showing a fleet of ships, sleek and menacing, yet completely invisible to the standard detection systems presented in the schematics alongside them. "This fleet," she explained, "is capable of operating undetected in any known space environment, making it an invaluable asset for peacekeeping and defense." A ripple of disbelief spread through the Council. Stealth technology of this caliber was unprecedented for such a young species. Doubts and questions erupted across the room, some mocking, others genuinely curious. "Is this a joke?" blurted out a delegate from a species known for their sensory enhancements. "How can such primitive beings develop technology that eludes even our sensors?" Lena's confidence did not waver. "I assure you, this is no jest," she replied. "To demonstrate, we have coordinated a live feed from the Orion Nebula sector." The holograms changed again, now displaying a real-time image of space near the Council station. At first, nothing appeared out of the ordinary. Then, on Lena's cue, blips of light emerged out of the void, ships appearing as if materializing from thin air. One by one, the vessels of the stealth fleet decloaked, arrayed in a formidable formation. The chamber fell into stunned silence as the representatives of the Galactic Council retreated into their private chambers, whispering and debating furiously. Lena and her team returned to the human quarters, their steps echoing with a new weight through the corridors of the station. The Earth's revelation had shifted the tectonic plates of galactic politics, and the reverberations were only beginning to be felt. In their modestly furnished lounge, the Earth delegates gathered around a sleek, holographic table. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of triumph and the palpable pressure of what was to come. Lena leaned forward, her eyes scanning the faces of her team. "We've played our hand," she said. "Now, we need to be ready for the fallout. They'll come at us with offers, threats, alliances. We must stay united and focused. The team nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. Among them was Dr. Emil Johansson, the chief engineer behind the stealth fleet. He adjusted his glasses, his mind racing with potential technical inquiries and challenges that might arise from skeptical council members. "We should prepare detailed technical presentations," he suggested. "They'll want proof beyond a simple demonstration. We need to be transparent about our capabilities, without giving away any vulnerabilities." Meanwhile, across the station, in the dimly lit chambers of the more powerful species, the news of Earth's advancement sparked a different kind of preparation. Vrex, now alone in his office, reviewed the footage of Earth's fleet appearing from the void. He steepled his fingers, his mind working through the implications. If Earth could hide a fleet, what else could they hide? Weapons? Entire armies? His communicator buzzed, and an encrypted message flickered on his screen. It was from the Zephyrians, known for their strategic cunning and not particularly fond of new powers disrupting the status quo. "We need to discuss the human situation," the message read, "urgently." Back at the human quarters, Lena received a similar summon. The Galactic Council had scheduled an emergency session, and it was clear that the agenda would be Earth's new technology. She turned to her team, her expression resolute. "This is it," she said. "We've shown them what we can do. Now, we must show them why they need us." The next day, as Lena walked into the council chamber, the atmosphere had shifted palpably. The usual hum of interstellar politics was now a charged buzz of anticipation and anxiety. As she took her place, she noticed the wary glances of other delegates, the way they now measured their words and their silences around her. Rex opened the session with a call for unity, but his eyes betrayed his concern. "We are here to discuss a proposition," he began. "A proposition from Earth, regarding the integration of their stealth technology into our collective security measures." As Lena stood to speak, her holograms ready to dazzle once again, a delegate from the back rose, his voice slicing through the murmurs. "Before we proceed," he said, his tone sharp, "how can we trust this technology won't be used against us? How do we know Earth will not leverage their advantage to seek dominance rather than partnership?" The room fell silent, the question hanging in the air like a sword. Lena smiled, not with arrogance, but with the confidence of one who holds a winning hand in a high-stakes game. "Our technology was developed not for conquest, but for protection," she explained. "In the spirit of transparency and trust, we propose a joint task force, comprising members from various civilizations, to oversee the operation and deployment of our stealth technology. We invite oversight and collaboration." Her offer was a calculated risk, extending an olive branch that also served as a test of the Council's intentions. Would they accept this gesture of goodwill, or would they reveal their fears and prejudices? The council chamber buzzed with an intensity that resonated through the curved walls. Lena's proposition hung like a dense nebula in the midst of the delegates, each absorbing the implications. The idea of a joint task force was revolutionary, bridging the gap between autonomy and oversight. Yet it was fraught with the potential for power struggles and deep-seated mistrust. As the debate continued, Zelar, the representative from the Iridian system, known for their diplomatic finesse and not easily swayed by emotional appeals, raised a voice that cut through the noise. "If we are to consider such a collaboration," Zelar proposed, "we must first conduct joint exercises to evaluate this technology under controlled conditions. We suggest neutral territory for these tests." The suggestion rippled through the council, finding nods of agreement even among the skeptics. It was a prudent step, allowing for a first-hand assessment without fully committing to Lena's offer. Lena nodded, acknowledging the wisdom in Zelar's approach. "Earth agrees to this suggestion," she responded. "We believe that practical demonstration under joint supervision will dispel doubts and forge stronger bonds between our civilizations." The council agreed to set a date for the exercises, and a committee was formed on the spot to plan the event, drawing members from various interested species. Lena found herself working closely with representatives who, just days before, had barely concealed their disdain for humanity. In the following weeks, the Earth's delegation, along with their counterparts, worked tirelessly. Dr. Johansen and his team prepared the stealth fleet, refining every system to ensure flawless performance. They were acutely aware that the eyes of the galaxy would be upon them, scrutinizing every detail for any sign of weakness or deception. Meanwhile, Lena engaged in diplomatic overtures, meeting with other delegates in less formal settings aboard the station. Each meeting was an opportunity to build relationships, to turn the tide of opinion and plant the seeds for future alliances. The day of the joint exercises arrived. The location chosen was a sector known for its sparse celestial traffic and minimal interference, ideal conditions for testing stealth capabilities. The Galactic Council had deployed observation ships, their crews a mix of various species, all eager to witness Earth's technology firsthand. As the stealth fleet initiated the demonstration, cloaking seamlessly against the backdrop of space, a murmur of approval swept through the observers. The ships maneuvered with such precision and stealth that even the most advanced sensors momentarily lost track of them. However, midway through the exercise, an unexpected alarm sounded. The sensors picked up an unknown ship, unregistered, and apparently watching the exercises. Immediate suspicion fell on the Earth delegation. Accusations flew, suggesting that humanity had staged the entire demonstration with the help of hidden assets. Lena's heart sank as she faced the council. With a calm demeanor, she requested a moment to investigate. Contacting her fleet commander, she demanded an immediate scan of the area. The commander's voice came through, tense but clear. "Ambassador, we've identified the ship. It's not one of ours. Its stealth tech signatures don't match anything in our fleet. We're tracing its origin now." Back in the observation ship, Lena relayed this information. Her claim was met with skepticism until the commander transmitted the conclusive evidence. As the dust settled from the demonstration and the subsequent revelation of the rogue faction's interference, the Galactic Council found itself in a state of reluctant re-evaluation. The chambers were filled with a new sense of urgency, and the talks over the next few days were charged with a cautious optimism. The success of Earth's stealth fleet had not only showcased humanity's technological prowess, but also highlighted the fragility of the existing security measures within the Council. With the rogue faction's attempt to disrupt the demonstration, the potential for unseen threats became a reality no one could ignore. Vrex, who had initially regarded Earth's proposition with skepticism, now championed the cause for a more inclusive defense strategy. "The incident during the exercise has laid bare our vulnerabilities," he addressed the Council. "We must adapt and evolve. The integration of Earth's stealth technology and the formation of a joint task force is no longer just an option. It is a necessity." As the Council debated the structure and mandates of the proposed task force, Lena worked diligently behind the scenes. She met with various delegates, smoothing over residual apprehensions and outlining the potential benefits of a unified security framework. Each conversation was a step toward stitching a fabric of trust and cooperation among the stars. Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the demonstration's success and the Council's shift in perspective sparked a flurry of activity. Governments and private sectors mobilized to support the expected demand for new technologies and the expansion of space programs. Dr. Johansen and his team were thrust into the limelight, their work now crucial to Earth's role on the galactic stage. Back at the Council, a final agreement was drafted. The task force would operate under the direct oversight of the Council, but would include substantial input from Earth regarding operational tactics and technology integration. The balance of power was delicate, with every species looking to protect its interest while fostering a collective security initiative. As the agreement was put to a vote, the chamber held its breath. The outcome would not only determine the Council's military and defensive strategies, but also signify a new era of interstellar relations. The vote was unanimous. Approval for the joint task force was granted. After the session, Lena and her team gathered to reflect on their journey from being the Council's underdogs to becoming pivotal players in galactic security. "We've crossed a crucial threshold," Lena remarked to her team. "But the real work begins now. We need to ensure that this task force becomes a symbol of unity, not division." Preparations for the inauguration of the Joint Task Force were extensive. Representatives from various civilizations were appointed, each bringing unique insights and capabilities. The task force's first meeting was set on a neutral space station, orbiting a serene planet at the edge of the Council's territory. The meeting was as much about strategy as it was about diplomacy. Lena and her counterparts sat at a large round table, holographic displays flickering in front of each member, showing real-time data and simulations of potential security scenarios. Discussions were intense, focusing on the allocation of resources, patrol routes, and response protocols. Despite the initial unity, cracks appeared when it came to sensitive topics like intelligence sharing and command hierarchy. Lena, sensing the underlying tensions, steered the conversation towards collaborative training exercises and shared technological developments, reminding everyone of the rogue faction's recent attempt and the common threats they all faced. As the meeting concluded, the task force had outlined the first phase of their operations, agreeing to conduct joint patrols and engage in regular technology exchange programs. The foundation was set, and though the path ahead was fraught with challenges, the inaugural operations of the Joint Task Force commenced under a sky streaked with the light of distant stars, the backdrop a constant reminder of the vast and unpredictable expanse they were sworn to protect. The first joint patrols were a mixture of anticipation and underlying tension, as crews from different civilizations worked side by side, learning to operate Earth's stealth technology alongside their conventional systems. On board the flagship of the task force, a newly built cruiser that housed the best of Earth and alien technology, Lena oversaw the integration efforts. Her role as a diplomat had subtly shifted to that of a leader in a multinational military initiative. Every day brought new challenges in coordination and cooperation, testing her ability to maintain peace and focus among the diverse crew members. During one of the patrols, a distress signal punctuated the routine checks. It originated from a civilian transport ship, stranded in a sector notorious for piracy. The task force responded with a precision that was the result of intense joint training exercises conducted over the past weeks. As they approached the coordinates, stealth systems cloaked their movements, masking their arrival from any would-be aggressors lurking nearby. As the task force decloaked, revealing their presence in a show of force designed to deter any attackers, they found the transport ship adrift, its hull scarred by weapons fire. Aboard the flagship, tactical teams prepared for a potential confrontation, while medical teams readied for casualties. Lena watched from the command center as teams boarded the transport. The operation was swift. No hostiles were found, but the crew of the transport were in dire condition, victims of a raid that had stripped the ship of its valuables and left it barely functional. The task force's medical team worked alongside engineers to stabilize the ship and its passengers, a clear demonstration of the joint effort's effectiveness and humanity's contribution to galactic peace. Back at the Council, news of the successful intervention spread quickly, bolstering support for the task force's continued operations. However, the incident raised questions about the increasing piracy and criminal activities in less patrolled sectors, highlighting the need for expanded operations and, perhaps more crucially, better intelligence capabilities. Subsequent meetings of the task force leadership focused heavily on intelligence sharing, a subject that had been a sticking point during initial negotiations. Lena proposed the creation of a centralized intelligence hub, one that would not only serve the task force, but also act as an early warning system for the Council's member civilizations. The proposal was ambitious, requiring a level of trust and openness that had not been previously achieved. Debate over the intelligence hub was intense. Some members expressed concerns about the security of their own classified information, fearing espionage more than external threats. Lena, understanding these concerns, suggested phased levels of access and the establishment of a neutral oversight board, composed of members from all participating civilizations, to monitor the hub's operations. The proposal for the intelligence hub was eventually accepted, with stringent checks and balances. Construction of the hub began on a space platform in a neutral zone, equally accessible to all member species and guarded by a contingent from the task force. Lena attended the groundbreaking ceremony, her presence a symbol of Earth's central role in this new phase of galactic cooperation. As the task force grew in confidence and capability, its operations expanded, Joint patrols became more frequent, and their presence deterred illegal activities across multiple sectors. The establishment of the intelligence hub promised a future where threats could be identified and neutralized even before they reached vulnerable. The establishment of the intelligence hub marked a significant milestone in the Galactic Council's history, transforming it into a more cohesive and proactive force. As the hub began its operations, the flow of data from across the galaxy converged into a central nexus, managed by an expert team drawn from the member species. This collective effort helped pinpoint potential threats and coordinate responses more efficiently than ever before. Lena, whose leadership had been pivotal in these developments, found herself increasingly in the spotlight, both as a diplomat and a symbol of Earth's newfound influence in galactic affairs. Her days were filled with strategic meetings, planning sessions, and public appearances, where she spoke of unity, vigilance, and the importance of shared knowledge in securing peace. As the intelligence hub's first operational year drew to a close, it had successfully preempted several major threats, including an attempted insurgency on a frontier world and a massive smuggling operation carrying illegal weapons technology. These successes solidified the task force's reputation as an indispensable asset to the Galactic Council. However, not all were pleased with the shifting power dynamics. Isolated incidents of sabotage and espionage suggested that some factions within the galaxy viewed the rising influence of Earth and the task force with suspicion and resentment. Lena and her team had to navigate these turbulent waters with care, balancing transparency with security, always aware that the eyes of both allies and adversaries were on them. Amidst this complex backdrop, the Galactic Council convened for its annual summit, with the task force's progress and future expansion on the agenda. Lena prepared to address the assembly, knowing that her words would shape the direction of interstellar relations moving forward. As she took the podium, a hush fell over the vast chamber. Lena looked out over the sea of faces, each representing a world, a species, a piece of the galactic tapestry. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice resonant and clear. "The past year has shown us the strength of what we can achieve when we work together. The Intelligence Hub and the Task Force are not just symbols of what we have achieved, they are beacons of what we can continue to achieve." She paused, letting her words sink in. "However, we must also address the concerns that have been raised. Security cannot come at the cost of trust. We must ensure that our actions always reflect our commitment to fairness and justice, not just for some, but for all members of the Galactic Council." Lena's speech was met with applause, but also with thoughtful nods and murmurs of agreement. It was clear that while much had been accomplished, the path forward would require continuous effort and adaptation. Following the summit, Lena met privately with representatives from various skeptical factions, listening to their concerns and discussing potential modifications to task force operations that would address these issues. These diplomatic efforts were slow and often frustrating, but Lena knew that every conversation was a step toward deeper understanding and cooperation. Months passed, and the task force continued to evolve. New technologies were integrated, training programs were expanded, and the intelligence hub became ever more sophisticated. Lena's role as a leader also evolved. She became a mentor to new delegates, sharing her experiences and insights, helping to shape the next generation of galactic diplomacy. As the final chapter of her tenure approached, Lena reflected on the journey, not just her own, but that of the entire council. From the early days of skepticism and underestimation to a pivotal role in galactic governance, the growth was undeniable. Earth had not only found its place among the stars, but had helped forge a collective path forward for the galaxy. In her last address as Earth's ambassador, Lena spoke not of endings, but of new beginnings. "The universe is vast, and our discoveries and challenges will not cease," she told the